If you're over 60, what you're about to hear could completely change the way you look at one of the most trusted foods in your kitchen. For years, you've probably been told the same thing. Nuts are healthy. Nuts are good for your heart. Nuts are the perfect snack. Doctors recommend them, nutritionists praise them, and every grocery store promotes them as a superfood. But what if some of those very nuts you've been eating daily are quietly working against your body instead of helping it? What if something as simple as a handful of the wrong nuts is slowly increasing inflammation, stressing your organs, and even affecting your memory without you realizing it? Here's the part that most people never hear. After the age of 60, your body does not respond to food the same way it did in your 30s or 40s. Your metabolism slows down, your liver becomes less efficient at processing certain fats and toxins, and your kidneys lose part of their filtering power. That means foods that once seemed harmless can start creating hidden problems inside your body. And nuts, surprisingly, are one of the biggest examples of this shift. Some of them can support your health in incredible ways, but others can quietly create the exact problems you're trying to avoid, like joint pain, fatigue, brain fog, and even cardiovascular strain. Recent findings in nutrition science have started to reveal something that hasn't been widely talked about. Certain commonly consumed nuts may contain compounds or nutrient profiles that, in older adults, contribute to inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic imbalance. In simple terms, they can make your body work harder instead of helping it recover and stay strong. What's even more surprising is that many of these nuts are still marketed as heart-healthy, with no warnings at all. So while you think you're making a smart choice, your body might be dealing with the consequences behind the scenes. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever noticed feeling unusually heavy, tired, or sluggish after eating certain snacks? Maybe your joints feel a bit stiffer, or your digestion feels off. Perhaps you've experienced moments of forgetfulness or mental fog that you brushed off as just part of aging. What if those changes are not just about age? What if part of the answer is sitting right in your pantry, something you eat regularly without a second thought? In this video, we're going to uncover the truth in a way that most sources don't. You'll discover which nuts you should be extremely careful with after 60, and more importantly, which ones can actually support your body, improve your energy, and help protect your long-term health. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because once you understand how your body reacts differently now, you can make small changes that create a huge impact. And make sure you stay with me all the way through, because one of the nuts that many people consider the healthiest is actually one of the worst choices for older adults, and avoiding it could make a noticeable difference in how you feel within weeks. On the other hand, one simple addition to your daily routine has been linked to better brain function and reduced inflammation when consumed consistently. These are small decisions, but they can shape your health in a powerful way over time. Before we get into the list, take a second to think about your own habits. Which nuts do you eat most often? Is it something you snack on daily? Or maybe something you've trusted for years because you believed it was healthy? And more importantly, how do you actually feel after eating them? Your experience matters more than any label on a package, and sometimes your body gives you signals long before a problem becomes serious. Now let's begin with one of the nuts that might seem harmless at first glance, but can create hidden stress for your body if consumed regularly after 60. Many people enjoy it for its rich, buttery taste, and it's often included in premium snack mixes, making it feel like a high-quality choice. But beneath that smooth texture lies a nutritional profile that doesn't always work in your favor as you age. As your body gets older, one of the biggest changes happens in how fats are processed. Your liver, which plays a central role in breaking down fats and keeping your cholesterol levels balanced, becomes less efficient over time. This doesn't mean fat is bad, but it does mean that the type and amount of fat you consume matters much more than it used to. When you consume foods that are very dense in certain types of fats, your body may struggle to process them effectively, leading to an internal buildup that can affect your energy levels and overall health. This particular nut is extremely high in fat compared to most others. While some fats are beneficial, too much of a dense fat load can overwhelm your system, especially if eaten frequently. Instead of being used efficiently for energy, The excess can contribute to imbalances that show up in subtle ways, like feeling unusually tired after eating or noticing that your endurance isn't what it used to be. Over time, this can also influence cholesterol patterns and place additional strain on your cardiovascular system. Another factor to consider is how your body handles minerals as you age. Certain foods contain compounds that, when consumed in excess, can accumulate in the body rather than being filtered out effectively. When this happens, it can affect how your blood vessels function and how your organs perform their roles. Even if you don't feel immediate symptoms, these small imbalances can build up slowly, making it harder for your body to maintain its natural balance. What makes this situation tricky is that the effects are rarely immediate or obvious. You won't eat something and suddenly feel a major problem. Instead, it's a gradual process. You might feel a bit more tired than usual, your walks might feel slightly more difficult, or your recovery after physical activity might take longer. These are the kinds of changes that are easy to overlook or attribute to aging. But in some cases, they can be influenced by dietary patterns that are easy to adjust. There's also a psychological side to this. When something is labeled as healthy, we tend to trust it without question. We don't think twice about portion sizes or frequency because we believe we're doing something good for ourselves. But even healthy foods can become problematic when they don't align with your body's current needs. After 60, your body requires a more targeted approach, one that supports your organs instead of overloading them. The good news is that you don't have to completely eliminate everything you enjoy. In many cases, small adjustments can make a big difference. Instead of relying heavily on one type of nut, you can begin to shift toward options that your body handles more efficiently. There are nuts that provide beneficial fats in a form that supports heart health without overwhelming your system, along with nutrients that help reduce inflammation and support brain function. Making this kind of change doesn't have to be complicated. It can start with something as simple as being more mindful of what you reach for during the day. Pay attention to how your body responds. Notice your energy levels, your digestion, and even your mental clarity. These signals can guide you toward better choices without needing extreme restrictions. As we continue, you'll see that not all nuts fall into the same category. Some can be incredibly supportive for your health when consumed properly, while others are better limited or avoided, depending on your body's needs. The key is understanding the difference and making informed decisions that work for you, not just following general advice that doesn't take age into account. In the next part, we're going to dive deeper into another commonly consumed nut that carries a completely different type of risk, one that many people never even consider. This isn't about fat content or calories, but something much less visible and far more surprising. And once you understand it, you may look at your snack choices in a completely new way. As we move forward, it's important to understand that not every risk comes from what you can see on a nutrition label. Some of the biggest concerns are hidden, completely invisible to the eye, and rarely talked about in everyday health advice. That's exactly the case with the next nut we're about to discuss. It's one of the most widely consumed snacks in the world, found in everything from trail mixes to spreads, and many people eat it almost daily without ever questioning its impact. At first glance, it seems harmless. It's affordable, easy to find, and often promoted as a source of protein. But what most people don't realize is that this food is highly vulnerable to contamination during storage and processing. Under certain conditions, it can develop natural toxins produced by mold, compounds that the human body is not designed to handle in large or repeated amounts. While safety standards exist, they don't completely eliminate exposure, especially when consumption becomes frequent over time. Here's where age makes a critical difference. When you're younger, your liver works efficiently to neutralize and remove harmful substances. But after 60, that detoxification process becomes less effective. Your body may not clear toxins as quickly, which means even small amounts can begin to accumulate. This doesn't happen overnight, but over months or years, it can create a burden that affects how your body feels and functions. What makes this particularly concerning is how subtle the symptoms can be. You might experience ongoing fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, or a sense of mental cloudiness that makes it harder to focus. Some people notice changes in digestion, like bloating or discomfort after eating, while others feel a general lack of energy that seems to come and go without a clear reason. Because these symptoms are common in aging, they're often dismissed or overlooked. Another important factor is the balance of fats in your diet. Your body relies on a delicate ratio of different fatty acids to maintain a healthy level of inflammation. When that balance is disrupted, it can lead to chronic low-grade inflammation, which plays a role in many age-related conditions. Some commonly consumed nuts contain a very high concentration of certain fats that, when not balanced properly with others, can tip the scale in the wrong direction. Over time, this imbalance can contribute to joint discomfort, stiffness, and even changes in cardiovascular health. Think about how often this particular snack shows up in everyday life. It's in sandwiches, desserts, energy bars, and even sauces. Because it's so common, it's easy to consume it multiple times a day without realizing how much you're actually taking in. And when something becomes part of your daily routine, its effects, positive or negative, become amplified. There's also the issue of how your digestive system changes with age. As you get older, your stomach produces less acid, which is essential for breaking down proteins and absorbing nutrients effectively. When digestion becomes less efficient, certain foods can sit longer in your system, leading to discomfort and reduced nutrient absorption. Over time, this can affect your overall vitality, even if you're eating foods that are technically considered healthy. One of the most overlooked aspects of this situation is how the body can develop sensitivities later in life. You might have eaten certain foods for decades without any noticeable problems, but that doesn't guarantee your body will always respond the same way. As your immune system evolves, it can begin to react differently, sometimes creating mild but persistent symptoms that are difficult to trace back to a specific cause. These reactions don't always appear as obvious allergies. Instead, they can show up as ongoing fatigue, joint aches, or even changes in mood and focus. This is why awareness is so important. It's not about eliminating everything you enjoy or becoming overly restrictive. It's about recognizing patterns and understanding how your body responds. When you start paying attention, you may notice that certain foods leave you feeling better, while others seem to drain your energy or create discomfort. That awareness gives you the power to make choices that support your well-being instead of working against it. Fortunately, there are alternatives that provide similar satisfaction without the same concerns. Some options offer a better balance of nutrients, along with compounds that actively support your body's natural processes. These alternatives can give you the same sense of enjoyment while aligning more closely with what your body needs at this stage of life. The goal isn't to take something away, it's to replace it with something that works better for you. Another thing to keep in mind is portion size and frequency. Even foods that are generally considered safe can become problematic when consumed in excess. After 60, moderation becomes more important than ever. Your body simply doesn't have the same capacity to handle overload. So smaller, more balanced portions can make a significant difference in how you feel day to day. As you reflect on your own habits, consider how often you rely on convenience foods or familiar snacks. It's easy to fall into routines, especially when something is quick and accessible. But small adjustments, like swapping one snack for another or reducing how often you consume a certain item, can create noticeable improvements over time. These changes don't require a complete lifestyle overhaul. They just require a bit of intention. Now, as we continue, we're going to look at another nut that carries a completely different kind of risk. Unlike what we've discussed so far, this one is often praised for its nutrient content and is frequently labeled as a superfood. But in this case, the problem isn't what it lacks, it's what it contains in excess. And for older adults, that excess can become a serious issue if not carefully managed. This next example highlights an important principle. More is not always better. Even beneficial nutrients can become harmful when consumed in large amounts, especially when your body's ability to regulate them changes with age. It's a reminder that balance is key and that understanding your body's limits is just as important as choosing the right foods. As we move into the next section, keep this idea in mind. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness and balance. By learning how different foods affect your body at this stage of life, you can make smarter choices that support your energy, your clarity, and your overall sense of well-being. And sometimes, the most powerful changes come from the simplest adjustments. Now let's talk about something that might completely surprise you, because this next nut is often praised more than almost any other. You'll find it recommended in health articles, mentioned in diet plans, and even promoted as a powerful source of essential nutrients. On the surface, it seems like one of the best choices you could possibly make. But here's where things get complicated, especially after the age of 60. The very nutrient that makes this nut so popular can also become a problem when consumed in excess, and that's something very few people are told. Your body depends on a delicate balance of vitamins and minerals to function properly. These nutrients support everything from your immune system to your brain, your muscles, and your organs. But balance is the key word here. When certain nutrients are taken in far beyond what your body actually needs, they can begin to interfere with normal processes instead of supporting them. And as you get older, your body becomes less efficient at regulating and removing excess amounts, which increases the risk of buildup over time. This particular nut contains a very high concentration of a trace mineral that, in small amounts, is beneficial. It plays a role in protecting your cells and supporting certain metabolic functions. However, the margin between enough and too much is surprisingly small. Just a few servings can push your intake far beyond what your body requires for the entire day. When that happens repeatedly, the excess doesn't simply disappear. Instead, it begins to accumulate, and that's where the problems can start. At first, the effects may be so mild that you don't connect them to anything specific. You might notice subtle changes like feeling more fatigued than usual or experiencing a slight drop in energy that doesn't seem to have a clear cause. Some people notice changes in their hair or nails, while others feel a bit more irritable or mentally unfocused. Because these signs are gradual, they're easy to dismiss or attribute to aging. But over time, as levels continue to build, the impact can become more noticeable. Your nervous system can be affected, leading to issues with concentration or coordination. You may find that your thinking feels slower or that you're having trouble remembering things that used to come easily. In some cases, people experience sensations like tingling or discomfort that they can't quite explain. These changes can be concerning, especially when they seem to appear without a clear reason. What makes this situation particularly challenging is that the food responsible is often seen as beneficial. When something is labeled as a superfood, it creates a sense of trust. You might even increase your intake because you believe it's helping you. But without realizing it, you could be pushing your body beyond what it can comfortably handle. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in nutrition, assuming that more of a good thing will always lead to better results. Another factor to consider is how your body distributes and stores certain nutrients. Some minerals don't just circulate in your bloodstream. They can accumulate in specific tissues over time. When that happens, they may begin to affect how those areas function. For example, parts of the brain that are responsible for memory and coordination can be sensitive to imbalances, which may explain why some people notice cognitive changes when levels become too high. There's also an interaction with other minerals to think about. Your body relies on a balance between different nutrients, and when one becomes excessive, it can interfere with the absorption or function of others. This can create a ripple effect, where one imbalance leads to another, gradually affecting multiple systems in your body. Even if your diet seems healthy overall, these hidden imbalances can still develop if certain foods are consumed too frequently. So what does this mean for you in practical terms? It doesn't mean you need to avoid this nut completely or fear it. The key is moderation and awareness. Instead of consuming it regularly in large amounts, it may be better to treat it as an occasional addition rather than a daily habit. By doing so, you can still benefit from its positive properties without risking an overload. It's also helpful to diversify your diet. Rather than relying heavily on one particular food for a specific nutrient, you can get a more balanced intake by including a variety of sources. This approach not only reduces the risk of excess, but also ensures that you're getting a wider range of beneficial compounds that work together to support your health. As you think about your own habits, consider whether there are any foods you tend to eat frequently because you believe they're especially healthy. It's natural to gravitate toward familiar choices, especially when they've been recommended or widely praised. But sometimes, stepping back and reevaluating those habits can reveal opportunities for improvement that you might not have noticed before. Another important point is how your body communicates with you. Even when changes are subtle, they often show up as patterns over time. You might notice that certain foods leave you feeling energized and clear-headed, while others seem to have the opposite effect. Paying attention to these signals can help you fine-tune your diet in a way that feels natural and sustainable. As we move forward, you'll start to see a bigger picture forming. It's not just about avoiding specific foods, it's about understanding how your body changes with age and adjusting your choices accordingly. When you align your diet with your body's current needs, you create an environment where your systems can function more efficiently, allowing you to feel more balanced and capable in your daily life. In the next part, we're going to look at another nut that may seem completely harmless, yet carries a different kind of concern that many people overlook. This one isn't about excess nutrients or hidden toxins, but rather how certain natural compounds can interact with your body in ways that become more significant as you age. And once you understand how it works, it may change how you think about some of your most familiar snacks. Now we come to the nut that surprises people the most, because it doesn't carry the same obvious warnings as the others. It looks clean, smooth, and perfectly safe. It's often included in premium snack packs, served at gatherings, and even used in recipes that are considered healthy. There's nothing about its appearance that would make you question it. But once you understand how it interacts with your body after 60, you may start to see it very differently. One of the key issues with this nut lies in compounds that occur naturally within it, substances that, in small amounts, your body can usually handle without difficulty. But as your kidney function gradually changes with age, processing these compounds becomes less efficient. Instead of being filtered out smoothly, they can begin to accumulate and interact with minerals already present in your body. Over time, this interaction can lead to imbalances that affect how your body feels and functions. What makes this especially important is that your kidneys are already working harder as you get older. Their ability to filter waste and maintain proper balance doesn't disappear, but it does become more sensitive. That means even moderate amounts of certain compounds can place additional stress on a system that's already adapting to age-related changes. And because this process happens slowly, it often goes unnoticed until the effects become more obvious. Another layer to this issue is how your body responds to trace elements that remain after processing. Even though most of these compounds are reduced during preparation, small amounts can still be present. For some individuals, especially as the immune system becomes more reactive with age, these traces can trigger low-level inflammation. This doesn't show up as a dramatic reaction, but rather as a subtle, ongoing stress that your body has to manage. Inflammation, even at low levels, plays a role in many of the discomforts people associate with aging. Joint stiffness, reduced flexibility, and slower recovery after activity can all be influenced by how your body handles inflammatory triggers. When certain foods contribute to this process, even in small ways, the cumulative effect can become noticeable over time. You might not connect it to what you're eating, but your body is responding nonetheless. There's also a metabolic aspect to consider. This nut contains a combination of nutrients that can affect how your body regulates energy, particularly in relation to blood sugar. While it's not typically seen as a high-sugar food, the way it interacts with your system can still influence how stable your energy feels throughout the day. Some people experience fluctuations that leave them feeling tired or drained after eating, especially if it's consumed on its own without balance. As your body becomes more sensitive to these fluctuations, maintaining steady energy becomes more important. Sudden spikes and drops can affect not just how you feel physically, but also your mental clarity and focus. Over time, this can contribute to a sense of fatigue that seems to come and go without a clear pattern. Again, it's easy to attribute this to aging, but dietary choices can play a role in how pronounced these effects become. Another often overlooked factor is how certain foods can influence nutrient absorption. Some compounds bind to essential minerals, making them less available for your body to use. As you age, maintaining adequate levels of key nutrients becomes increasingly important for muscle strength, bone health, and cognitive function. When absorption is reduced, even slightly, it can have a gradual impact on how well your body maintains these systems. This is where the bigger picture starts to come together. It's not just one single effect. It's a combination of small influences that add up over time. A little extra strain on your kidneys, a bit more inflammation, slight fluctuations in energy, and reduced absorption of key nutrients. Individually, each of these might seem minor, but together they can shape how you feel day to day and how your body adapts as you age. What's important to understand is that none of this is about fear or extreme restriction. It's about awareness and making choices that align with your body's current needs. The goal is not to eliminate every potential risk, but to reduce unnecessary strain so your body can function more efficiently and comfortably. At this point, we've uncovered several nuts that, while commonly consumed, may not be the best fit for your body after 60, especially when eaten frequently or in large amounts. But this is only half of the story. Because while some choices can create subtle challenges, others can provide powerful support, helping your body adapt, recover, and maintain strength over time. This is where things start to shift in a positive direction. Instead of focusing only on what to limit, we're now going to look at what to include, options that work with your body rather than against it. These are foods that provide beneficial compounds in forms your body can use effectively, supporting everything from your brain to your heart to your overall energy levels. Think of it as a transition from avoiding problems to actively building support. When you make this shift, your diet becomes more than just a routine. It becomes a tool that helps you maintain independence, clarity, and strength as you move forward. In the next part, we'll begin exploring these supportive choices, starting with one that is often overlooked but incredibly powerful when it comes to protecting your body from the effects of aging. Once you understand how it works, you may find yourself wanting to include it more regularly. Not because you have to, but because it genuinely helps you feel better. Up until now, we've been looking at the side of the story that most people never hear. The hidden ways certain everyday choices can quietly work against your body after 60. But here's the encouraging part. Your body still has an incredible ability to respond, adapt, and improve when you give it the right support. Even small changes can create noticeable differences in how you feel, how you think, and how much energy you have throughout the day. And when it comes to something as simple as what you snack on, the right choices can actually become one of your strongest tools for staying healthy and independent. Let's start with something that often gets overlooked, yet carries a surprisingly powerful effect on the body. This is a nut that doesn't always get the spotlight, but it has a unique combination of natural compounds that directly support some of the biggest challenges people face as they age. One of the most important of these is oxidative stress. As you get older, your body naturally produces more free radicals, unstable molecules that can damage cells over time. At the same time, your internal defense systems become less efficient, which makes it harder to neutralize that damage. This is where certain foods can step in and make a real difference. Some nuts are naturally rich in antioxidants,
Excess
compounds that
sodium
help
and
protect
unhealthy
your cells
preparation
and
methods can
reduce the
harm vital
impact of
organs.
oxidative stress.
But a balanced approach,
When you include these
choosing
regularly in your diet, you're essentially giving your body extra support in maintaining its balance. Over time, this can translate into clearer thinking, better energy, and a reduced sense of physical wear and tear. What makes this particular option so valuable is not just the presence of antioxidants, but the way they work together with other nutrients. Instead of acting in isolation, these compounds support multiple systems at once. They contribute to cardiovascular health, help maintain stable energy levels, and even play a role in protecting your brain. This kind of synergy is especially important after 60, when your body benefits most from nutrients that can perform multiple functions at the same time. Another area where this choice stands out is how it supports mental clarity. As people age, it's common to notice small changes in memory or focus. While some degree of change is natural, nutrition can influence how significant those changes become. Certain nutrients help protect brain cells and support communication between them, which is essential for maintaining sharp thinking. Including foods that provide these nutrients regularly can help create an environment where your brain continues to function more efficiently. You may not notice a dramatic shift overnight, but over time, the difference can be meaningful. Instead of feeling mentally drained or unfocused, you may find that your thoughts feel clearer and your ability to concentrate improves. These are the kinds of subtle but important changes that contribute to a higher quality of life. There's also an important benefit when it comes to energy stability. One of the challenges many people face as they get older is maintaining consistent energy throughout the day. Instead of feeling steady, energy can rise and fall, leading to periods of fatigue or sluggishness. The right combination of nutrients can help smooth out these fluctuations, giving you a more balanced and reliable sense of energy. This happens because certain foods provide a mix of healthy fats, fiber, and other compounds that slow down digestion and release energy more gradually. Instead of a quick spike followed by a drop, your body receives a steady supply that helps you stay active and engaged for longer periods. This can make everyday activities feel easier and less tiring. Another advantage is how these foods support your overall resilience. As you age, recovery becomes just as important as activity. Whether it's recovering from physical exertion, mental stress, or even minor illnesses, your body needs the right building blocks to repair and maintain itself. Nutrient-dense foods provide those building blocks, helping your body respond more effectively to whatever challenges it encounters. What's encouraging is that incorporating these benefits into your routine doesn't require complicated changes. It can be as simple as replacing one snack with another or adding a small portion to your daily meals. These small adjustments, when done consistently, can create a ripple effect that supports multiple aspects of your health. Now, let's consider another option that brings a different set of advantages. This one is particularly valuable for supporting physical strength and maintaining mobility. As people age, preserving muscle becomes increasingly important, not just for movement, but also for overall stability and independence. Certain foods provide nutrients that help support muscle maintenance without placing unnecessary strain on the body. In addition to that, this option also contributes to healthy circulation. Good circulation is essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout your body, and it plays a key role in how your heart and blood vessels function. When circulation is supported, it can help maintain a sense of vitality and reduce the feeling of heaviness or fatigue that sometimes develops over time. There's also a benefit for digestion, which is another area that often changes with age. Maintaining a healthy digestive system is important not only for comfort, but also for nutrient absorption. Foods that provide natural fiber and support beneficial gut bacteria can help keep things moving smoothly and improve how effectively your body uses the nutrients you consume. As you begin to include more of these supportive choices, you may start to notice small improvements that build on each other. Better digestion can lead to better nutrient absorption, which supports energy and mental clarity. Improved circulation can enhance physical comfort and endurance. Reduced oxidative stress can help you feel more balanced overall. These changes are interconnected, and together they contribute to a stronger foundation for your health. The key takeaway here is that your daily choices matter, but they don't have to be overwhelming. You don't need to follow complicated plans or make drastic changes overnight. By focusing on simple, consistent improvements, you can create a routine that supports your body in a natural and sustainable way. As we move into the final part, we'll look at the most powerful options of all, choices that stand out not just for one benefit, but for their ability to support multiple aspects of your health at once. These are the kinds of additions that can truly make a difference when included regularly, helping you maintain clarity, strength, and overall well-being as you move forward. As we come to the final part, this is where everything starts to come together in the most powerful way. By now, you've seen how some everyday choices can quietly work against your body, but you've also discovered that there are simple, natural options that can support you instead. And among all of them, there is one that stands out above the rest: not because it's trendy or heavily marketed, but because of how deeply it aligns with what your body needs after 60. This final choice is often recognized by its shape, which interestingly resembles one of the most important organs in your body. And while that might seem like a coincidence, the way it supports your system is anything but accidental. It contains a unique combination of nutrients that work together to support your brain, your heart, and even your ability to rest and recover at night. One of the most important aspects of this food is its role in supporting balance within your body. As you age, maintaining that balance becomes more challenging. Inflammation can become more common, circulation may not be as efficient, and recovery can take longer than it used to. This is where certain natural compounds can make a meaningful difference by helping your body regulate these processes more effectively. When included regularly in your diet, this option provides a form of nourishment that goes beyond basic nutrition. It helps create an environment where your body can function more smoothly. Your mind may feel clearer, your movements may feel more comfortable, and your overall sense of well-being can improve in subtle but important ways. Another area where this choice truly shines is in supporting mental clarity and memory. As time goes on, maintaining sharp thinking becomes one of the most valuable aspects of independence. Being able to remember, focus, and stay mentally engaged is something that affects every part of your daily life. The nutrients found here contribute to protecting and supporting the systems that make that possible. People who include this regularly often describe a gradual improvement in how they feel mentally. It's not a sudden change, but rather a steady shift, less fog, more clarity, and a stronger sense of awareness. These are the kinds of changes that make everyday tasks easier and more enjoyable, from conversations to decision-making. There's also a benefit that many people don't expect, and that's the impact on rest and recovery. Sleep is one of the most overlooked factors in overall health, especially as you get older. Changes in sleep patterns are common, and many people find it harder to achieve deep, restorative rest. Certain natural compounds can support your body's ability to relax and maintain a more consistent sleep cycle, which in turn affects how you feel during the day. When your sleep improves, everything else tends to follow. Your energy becomes more stable, your mood feels more balanced, and your body is better able to recover from daily activities. This creates a positive cycle where each aspect of your health supports the others. Another important factor is how this choice supports your cardiovascular system. Maintaining healthy circulation and supporting your heart becomes increasingly important with age. The nutrients found here help your body manage these processes more effectively, contributing to a sense of lightness and ease in your daily movements. What makes this particularly valuable is that it doesn't require a complicated approach. You don't need large amounts or special preparation. A simple, consistent habit is enough to begin experiencing the benefits over time. This is what makes it so practical. It fits easily into your routine while still offering meaningful support. Now, when you step back and look at everything we've covered, a clear pattern begins to emerge. Some choices create unnecessary strain on your body, especially when consumed frequently without awareness. Others provide support, helping your body adapt and function more efficiently. The difference isn't always obvious at first, but over time, it becomes significant. This is where your daily habits become powerful. Every small decision adds up. What you choose to include, what you choose to limit, and how consistently you follow those choices all play a role in shaping your health. And the most encouraging part is that you have control over these decisions. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, the most effective approach is often the simplest one. Start with one adjustment. Replace one snack with a better option. Pay attention to how your body responds. Notice the small improvements, whether it's better energy, clearer thinking, or a greater sense of comfort in your movements. As those small changes begin to take effect, you can build on them gradually. Over time, these adjustments become part of your routine, and what once felt like an effort becomes second nature. This is how lasting change happens, not through extreme measures, but through consistent, mindful choices. It's also important to remember that your body is always responding to what you give it. Even after 60, it continues to adapt, repair, and adjust. When you provide it with the right support, it responds in ways that can improve your quality of life in meaningful ways. You may not reverse every aspect of aging, but you can influence how you experience it. Think about what that means for your daily life. More energy to do the things you enjoy. Greater clarity in your thoughts and decisions. A stronger sense of independence and confidence in your abilities. These are not small things. They're the foundation of living well as you move forward. Now, I'd like you to reflect for a moment. Out of everything you've heard, what stood out to you the most? Was there something that surprised you? Something you hadn't considered before? Or maybe something that made you think differently about your current habits? Your experience matters, and your awareness is the first step toward making changes that truly benefit you. If you're willing, share your thoughts. What do you usually snack on? And have you noticed how it makes you feel? Sometimes, hearing from others can provide insights that we might not discover on our own, and your perspective could help someone else make a positive change in their life. And if you found this helpful, consider staying connected. There's so much more to explore when it comes to supporting your health in practical, meaningful ways. The goal is not perfection, but progress. Finding simple strategies that help you feel stronger, clearer, and more in control of your well-being. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. The choices you make today shape how you feel tomorrow. By becoming more aware of what supports your body and what doesn't, you give yourself the opportunity to live not just longer, but better. More energy, more clarity, more strength. These are all within reach when your daily habits align with your needs. So move forward with confidence. Make small, intentional changes. Listen to your body and give it the support it deserves. Because aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can mean becoming more aware, more balanced, and more in tune with what truly helps you thrive. Stay strong, stay sharp, and keep choosing what's best for you.